What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Gladia Castro. I got my co-host, Tim Park.
Hey,
Happy
what's up, fam?
Wednesday, everybody. This is episode 35. Before we get into today's topic, which I think will be a really trendy topic, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We're on here every week. So, just spilling some game, having some really special guests. So make sure you tap in with us every week. Follow us on IG, all the social platforms. But really appreciate you guys joining in on us. So today's topic, we kind of actually covered AI maybe earlier this year when it was
Yes,
like it was just the AI boom. Like ChatGPT, I think had just come out, and but it has evolved in the last 6 months. I feel like, so we want to kind of do a little check in on what are the tools out there. Specifically, we'll talk about real estate, but it goes really for any entrepreneurship or any industry. Really, it can be applied.
absolutely.
But we'll specifically talk because a lot of our audience are in the real estate space. But the best AI tools for your business. So a lot of people aren't taking advantage of this, and this is what we talk about. That if you're going to be left behind if you're not taking advantage of utilizing these tools and what AI can do. And I think we are just talking offline about how AI is really replacing VAs. Uh,
hmm
and so we're going to uncover that a little bit. But what was besides ChatGPT, Tim? What sort of AI tools have you kind of utilized most over the last 6 months, or really since that last call we had?
Yeah. Actually, it's been actually a lot of content driven AI tools. But I know that like a lot of people don't want to pay for ChatGPT, so they're using the free version. And what people need to know, I don't know if we covered this in the last podcast on AI, but with ChatGPT, it only goes to 2017, the data,
Mhm.
and alternatives like Bard and Bing now are utilizing the internet, so it can go back as for or it can go up to now, right? Because there's relevant content on the internet um, for that particular subject that you're researching or you're trying to do as well too.
Right.
So and a lot of changes too have happened with ChatGPT on the paid version with plugins. Now you can have plugins on ChatGPT where you can plug in like Zillow and ask it to, maybe comp properties for you or list different properties in a certain zip code, and it will
Mhm.
list it in a, spreadsheet form for you. So there's a lot of tools that can be used in regards to the new releases on ChatGPT, but like plugins with Airtable as well too. I haven't used that yet, but I need time to deep dive into it a little
Yeah.
bit. But
There's Zillow
I
one too, I think that everyone's using for like comps and stuff like that, or comping.
correct. One interesting thing, I think we were talking about this before the podcast, was this new cold calling AI. It's not released yet, but I've seen it in a video.
Mhm.
It's called Air AI, and it has a sales conversation with people. So it would cold call for you. So like it goes to, I guess, the theme of getting rid of a assistants or virtual assistants as well. AI will replace that at some point. It's not quite there yet. You can hear some influxes in the voice and stuff like that to make it sound like. But I think, like, let's say you're targeting 60 plus, right? I don't think the 60 plus, you know, let's say homeowner is going to know that influx in voice a little bit because it was pretty convincing on the video. So they haven't released yet. So I'm really interested to see what happens in that space. all it's going to do is get better, I think.
I agree. I think that this is the future, and there's going to be more features like this. I think we've even discussed on the real estate side as well, like texting.
Yeah,
Um,
texting. Yeah.
different ways that you can utilize that, basically different plugins. I think there's a few like communication platforms. I think Hyro AI is something
Mm-hmm.
that's used on the more like a chat feature, customer service. But I think you can also use it to have conversations. Now, this, in terms of the integration, that's something I am looking into on how I
Mm-hmm.
integrate my AI into my platforms, whether through like an API, and then testing it out. And I think
Mm-hmm.
you're going to start seeing more of these real estate investors um, actually probably creating businesses because there's,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, what's the issue with texting right now? It's the carrier,
Mm-hmm.
the restrictions, especially for using Twilio. It's a little expensive. Especially if you want to scale, managing a VA through texting, and sometimes that can be a pain because they don't understand the lingo as well. So um, expect more and more businesses or companies being created to solve the issue with texting and any kind of marketing channel, really. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting, kind of, and I'm starting to see it now too, where people are like, "Oh, there's a problem here. Let me see what I can develop, and let me just get a developer to put this together,
Mm-hmm.
sell it, right?" Because
Yeah.
there's a need right now.
That's awesome. I know there's active AI or active, what is it called? Active campaign. Like, because email, we've kind of utilized email in our strategy as well too, and that's worked really well in getting agents to contact us back. So the open rate on the email was fairly high.
Right.
So this actually you can implement into your campaign, and it's kind of like how you set up the text messages with
Mhm.
keywords and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's like a follow-up tool for the email, but only it puts them in a campaign that is most likely, let's say, to sell
Mhm.
campaign, and then it just follows up automatically with the emails on there instead of text messages.
Right.
And usually what a lot of people are using it for is Facebook advertising. So the Facebook advertiser puts their information on there, it automatically goes to this platform. The platform sends out an email, introductory email, set them up appointment or not set up appointment. If it doesn't set up appointment, then it goes into a follow up campaign for that particular person.
Right.
So it's
And
pretty interesting.
yeah, and I think that I'm so glad you brought that up because, again, this is the future. You need to dedicate time. I know a lot of us say, "Hey, we're busy," but this is where it's like the extra hours you put in, like after, before work, to like really research
Mm-hmm.
what can I integrate in my business. I know it's a lot easier said than done. It's easy to just keep going and doing what you do, but um, keep saying there's going to be more and more innovation being created over the next 5-10 years. So you don't want to be caught behind that, and using AI as like an ally, a partner,
Yeah.
in putting together your business. Like
Yeah.
there's so many other tools out there, just not necessarily like solving the marketing aspect or whatever, but there's also to help with content, help with video recordings, like in transcribing your meetings, your calls with your VAs, or your calls with your team, so that you can like
Mm-hmm.
put that in a lot easier and actually sum up. I think I have one that's called like Fireflies AI, and as long
Mm.
as you attach it to your calendar or your email or Gmail account, whatever, and you join any meeting, it's going to join a meeting for you, and it's going to
Oh,
transcribe
cool.
the meeting and actually give you a summary, especially if you missed it, or if you want to just get a recap. Like, I think it's been joining meetings without me, so it's like I'll just get an email saying like, "Hey, Gladia, here's your recap for today's meeting," uh, and like literally a sentence, or like less than two sentences. Like, "Oh,
That's
this is
hilarious.
what happened. you discuss this many things, keywords, all these things that is broken up. And so you
Mhm.
can save a lot of time that way and like understand, especially if you're kind of taking notes or need help with documentation. That's like a huge help. And I mean, there's just vast amount of tools out there. I think Tango is also another one to help with like documentation as well, where it's basically kind of like a tool guide that as you're um, say you want to show them how to help with text, for example,
Mhm.
it literally like as you click, it writes the steps down. So you
Mhm.
team that up with like a Loom, you're good to go. So
That's
uh,
awesome.
little small things like that that I think go a long way. But it's making that time to actually research or watch this episode, rewatch this episode for us to inform you what sort of tools are out there.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you kinda mentioned that and everything is that I was having lunch with somebody, and I've known this person for a long time, and they've been in entertainment forever, marketing, and then, now they had kinda started their own, little business, right? And they were asking me, like, what I should do to drive more traffic to the website, like SEO and stuff like that, and I kinda explained that, the best thing to do is do content and stuff, and then I said, "You there's some tools if you're a solo entrepreneur that will help you out to help you automate some things, using AI." And they're like, "No, no, 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 I don't wanna use AI. I forbid it. I'm not going to,
Mm,
use that technology. I just feel like it's, killing a lot of jobs and stuff like that." And I said, "Well," then I said, "You could do the old-fashioned way, take up most of your time, and, do it yourself, and, it's just gonna take a lot longer for you to do that by yourself, or you can hire other people to do that," which entails means you'll hire other people to do that that are using this technology for them to do it for you, you know what I'm saying? So, however you kind of go about it, some people are adamant about using it, and some people are still not on board at all. They're afraid of it, or they don't wanna use it. They feel like it's taking people's jobs, and I'm not gonna support something that's gonna do that. But I feel like that's just a wrong mindset.
I agree. I mean, every century, or I feel like, look at history. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, we went from horses to cars, and that was
yeah.
probably a big thing as well. Like, that was probably a big deal of like, no, but it's working fine. Like, why do we need to change it? It's the same mindset. It's going to keep happening. I mean, in the next 50, 100 years, uh,
Mhm,
something revolutionary is going to come up, and people are going to be like, well, but we're just people just don't like change, and they're just comfortable doing it. And I believe you should be a lifelong student. So you're never smarter or better than any whatever kind of new thing is coming out, no matter how many years of experience you have.
mhm.
That's where it's like you have to be humble in that way, where it's like I'm a lifelong student. I'm always learning anything that comes out. I need to be open minded to it. But a lot of these older realtors,
Mhm.
investors, it's unfortunate. They're the ones that are going to be left behind.
Yeah, yeah, and, um, I know we'll have some guests and everything, and I know that, some of these, realtors out there or real estate agents, it's just like wholesaling too, is that they have to hustle just as much as we do to try to get listings, or we're trying to get sellers, right?
Mhm.
Or even buyers, in that sense. So it's, what are the tools that are gonna help us to do that? Like Chris, right? He started when there wasn't no or there wasn't a dialer, right? So it was either bandit signs or making calls from his phone,
Right.
single dial, right? Now that there's tools to help out, real estate professionals or investors in this field, it just helps with the progress of the industry. One, it helps with the time it takes to do a deal, so it shortens that time frame. And then 3, it, helps scale your business if you utilize it the right way with training and bringing on people and teaching them how to use your system.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, it's you have to look at it like it's not really about you, how uncomfortable you are. It's is this good for my business, and you're not doing your business a favor by doing that. And like Camille says, it
Yeah.
just makes it a lot easier. So I think it's funny, it's unfortunate, but honestly, just utilizing a Bard or Chat GPT, honestly, like
Hmm.
you do a lot.
Hmm.
uh, Sign up for some newsletters too.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a website. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Somebody has shared it with me where it's like it's basically a whole library, a database of AI
Hmm.
tools based off of specific functions that you want it to do. So if it's marketing or drawing or whatever, you just type it in and then it populates different tools for you.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I think I'm gonna see if I can find and actually plug in here for you guys because it was pretty useful for me to include. I think based off of this discussion. But guys, there's again so many tools out there for anything. I think people have written books using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Start there. Start with one AI tool and learning it like for 1 hour for a week, 2 weeks until you like really grasp it.
Hmm.
I think one of the important thing is knowing how to. I think they call it um, prompt engineers.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
prompting, right? It's prompt is like what are you writing it? What are you telling the AI to do? You need to be very clear so that you get the best response or answer. So there's a huge influx of prompt engineers. I believe that's the correct term
Yeah.
that people are actually hiring because they need that's going to be a need. It's going to be kind of a need for the
Yeah.
future. So there's a way that you can understand the prompts and what you're telling the AI tool to do.
Hmm.
You're be in a good position. So my recommendation, if you're just starting out, like no experience with AI, pick one tool. I would suggest probably Chat GPT. There's a ton of videos on how to actually doing different things. So if it's like in your industry, and type it in, type like and kind of test things out, like ask it what to do things and whatever. And once you grasp it, maybe move on to the next thing. You can move to Bard. You can move to just different tools that you can use. And I think Tim just dropped um, that link. So definitely check it out. Because again, guys, this is the future. And if you're one of those,
Hmm.
I would love to have one of those people that don't believe in
Yeah.
AI. Because whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. Unfortunately, I do understand like where people are coming from, in terms of like how scary it is. Because I do think like because I've seen all the movies. Like we've seen the Will
Hmm.
Smith like I forgot what that movie was.
Skynet, a Terminator, so
Yeah,
like,
Terminator, all those things. It's very. I mean, it could be possible. Like robots are intelligent. So, but I'm the type of person where it's like, all right, until the time comes, I'm not even gonna think about it. But I mean, I understand
hmm
like if there's a way that you can be knowledgeable about it and know how to control it and whatever, you should probably look into it. And if it's gonna make your life easier,
hmm
I'm sure at some point, like even AI, right? There's a talk of like copywriting, right? Because some of the rap
hmm
songs, some of the artists,
Oh
the
yeah.
music that's made is. So I think there will be legislation. There's going to be laws written, but at what point, like what can you control? Because it's such a wide range. So
Yeah.
the
So new.
future is going to be interesting these next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah. I think you bring up a good point too, is that even if you don't have a business and you're looking for a career change or something that is you're not fulfilled or whatever, it's going to be yeah, the Will Smith movie iRobot. Thanks, Camille.
iRobot, yep, that
Shout
was a
out
good
to
one.
Camille. But anyway, the I think going back to your point is that look at AI as maybe a career, choice, because I know people that are applying for jobs didn't go to school for AI because it didn't exist when they were in school.
Right.
So I would just learn as much as possible as you can. The prompt engineering is highly sought after, because
It
even,
is.
let's say, people are losing their jobs, they still need to hire people to know how to ask the AI, or
Right.
have the AI learn about that particular company so it can
And
do
their
the tasks
systems,
it
the
needs. Yeah,
process, connecting it.
absolutely.
That's going to be the future. And discussions I've had before is connecting an agent sort of thing that's
Mhm.
basically a brain to whatever database that you have. So whether it's if you have a code base, um, in your company, it's gonna you connect it to it, and then instead of like pulling reports, you're asking the AI, you're prompting it like, hey, pull me a list of for over the last year, the gross income, whatever, and it'll just spit it out instead of you having to like pull filters and things like that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of going to be the future, and also kind of researching. I mean, if you're not necessarily an entrepreneur but are looking into getting finding an industry that you can work from, I think sales, I don't think is ever going to go away.
Mm-mm.
You're always going to need somebody. I mean, there may be a thing where like we're just talking about the cold calling aspect, but it's you still need people to like
Mhm.
human to human. So I don't think that'll ever go away. I think I was reading too, like healthcare, that's always going
Mhm.
to be a need. And I think there was one other one as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But start researching like those industries that are kind of indestructible no matter what. Like whether there's a pet epidemic, uh, you know,
Mhm.
needed healthcare, sales. You need somebody to talk to someone. So I think it's just doing your research.
Yeah.
Log into these newsletters that are basically printing out information about AI. Watch YouTube videos. Again, just dedicate an hour a day, and just seeing kind of what you come up with. Like you'd be surprised what you can learn.
Yeah. And new stuff is gonna pop up all the time. It's changed since our last
It's
podcast
changing
about
like every
AI.
day. I feel like
Yeah.
week.
So it is hard to keep up with, especially if you're running a business and you're trying to scale your business, whatever it is if it's real estate or if it's another entrepreneur venture. I think take some time to keep up with it. Try to keep up with it as much as possible. Like when you're not working on your business, maybe read on it, watch some YouTube videos or podcasts on specifically AI. So I try to keep updated with people that are in the AI industry, and feed you different apps to use and stuff like that, and seeing how I can utilize that into my business.
Mhm.
Even I I use ChatGPT regularly. I use Bard regularly. I'm starting to use Bing regularly now. So it's just these different types of things, and it's just different aspects. Like um, it, it, it's I think whatever your business is, you just need to cater it towards what you think you need it for.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to do it yourself. Maybe you don't need Bard to do that, or ChatGPT, but it definitely helps. I know
No,
it helps me on a weekly basis.
no, absolutely. Just find ways to integrate it. I think what I always recommend, especially when you're hiring, is like write down all the tasks that you do, and maybe a cool way
Mm,
is like based off all the tasks that you do, see what AI tool can actually like help save time. So if it's like a lot is copywriting or texting, so your campaign text messages that are sent out that you want to be avoided from carriers, like finding going through chat. I've done that like almost every month, where I go through and I just kind of clean up the texting so that it's like a brand new set of messages. And that used to take me a lot of time to be like, okay, what words can I not use? Okay. And like I had to use my own brain to like come up with something. Now I just ask ChatGPT, hey, this is the Twilio restriction, or tell me, and this is usually what I want to say to avoid, being affected by the
Smart.
carrots. What can I say? Give me 10 examples, and then, or 10 different messages, and then it just spits it out. So it's just so many cool things that you can utilize with that. So you should definitely be taking advantage of that. But I know we're kind of approaching the end of the episode, so I think the link that Tim posted, topapps.ai, I think that alone, you guys can start with that link. And based off of what your needs are, I mean, it has everything from assistant to productivity, health. I see coding, text to speech. I see SMS. Like you can type it. And then you can type in the search field like what you want. It has free. It has paid. At some point, instead of paying for VAs, you're going to be just paying for
subscriptions for these.
Subscription, and it's going to save a lot of money. I'm sure it's going to get more expensive as you go, but there's a lot of things you can do. And I know a lot of people I've been seeing, especially in our wholesaling community, talk about, hey, how can I I don't want to hire a VA for my texting. I want to use AI. How can I use it? Start researching. Definitely ask people in your industry, of course, like what it is that they're using. But the solutions are out there, and it's just also just trying it out.
100%. And I think, comment below, tell us what you think, what tools you use, and if you have any questions on it, definitely visit the website with all the different apps and websites for AI. I think that's going to utilize it for you. And then, like you said, write down like all your processes or a list of things that you do on a daily basis, and see how you can have AI help you. And I think that's the best way to kind of start utilizing AI if you have no idea what to do. So, and to the people that are, I guess, afraid to use AI or don't want to use AI, I'm not sure that's your preference, but eventually, just like the car, everybody's going to be using it. Like, so so don't let it pass you by, or in some way and somehow it's going to be used without your knowledge to help you out.
Right. Exactly. We'll just leave it at that, and we'll end it with Camille, who's very heavy user.
Yes, she is.
Use Bard. She asked Bard to give her a low carb recipe for McDonald's caramel frappe, and tasted good. So you can utilize it more than just business. It can be any little thing that sometimes you think that you have to like put in a thought and work to look it up or whatever. Have AI help you out in many ways. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's very enlightening. Again, I'm learning something every day. I'm humbled every day on like what I can actually do, the capabilities. But we'll be back next week. We actually have a special guest next week. One of the ladies of the U. I'm really excited. It would be great to have a chat with her. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and we'll connect next week.
Awesome.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, all the things. We're on here every week. See y'all later.
All right.